voice just quit on me, like the first word. What I'm trying to say is hello. Okay, good morning, good night, whatever. I am here with a few book recommendations for you. And specifically, I wanted to talk about like palate cleanser books that I think are perfect palate cleansers. And I have like quite a wide range of genres, or not that wide, but just, you know, so you can pick and choose. And these are what worked for me, so I'm like not promising anything. I'm not going to say that these are like definitely going to work for you, but they did work for me, so I thought I might just share them, you know, because I'm a good person. I'm a Girl Scout. Finley Donovan is killing it, and quite literally, because this book is about this struggling author, single mom, who just got a divorce. She's like, you know, she's not doing too well, and so she has a meeting with her agent. Someone happens to overhear their conversation, and in the conversation, she is telling her agent about the plot for her new book, which is a murder mystery, and she's like talking in grave detail about like everything that she's planning for the mystery book. And well, this woman that overhears her at the coffee shop misjudges or misunderstands, and she's like, oh, well, of course, this woman is an assassin, right? You can like pay her and she'll kill people for you. So like that's essentially the plot of the book, where this poor mom, this woman, gets mistaken for a murderer, and so she gets offered like a ton of money to kill this other woman's husband. And well, it all just kind of spirals from there. It's more of a comedy than it is a mystery thriller. It's not a thriller though. Like nothing about this was scary. It was really funny. I have to say, the entire, like, the writing is inherently ironic and just kind of mocks itself. It's very self-aware, which I liked. It's really fast-paced. It's a page turner, and I would highly recommend this. I'm not going to like be obsessed with the characters and with the story, but you're probably gonna like it. And there are 3 more books, like, if you want to. I haven't read them yet, but I'm keeping them in my arsenal for if one day I might feel like I need this kind of palate cleanser again. But yeah, I would highly recommend it if you're in between, like, I don't know, if you're just coming down from a tandem read of like a huge fantasy series or something. This is the type of book that I think would be perfect. So, or just if you were like really obsessed with a book or a series that you just finished and you're like, well, what do I do with my life now? This is what you do with your life now, okay? Next book is Swear on This Life by Renee Carlino, and probably seen this book. If not, you've definitely seen Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino, and I love both of those 2 books. They're the only books that I have written by her. I didn't write them, read by her, and I love both of them, but I have to say I prefer this one a little bit more. It was really unique story. It heart-wrenching, like seriously so sad. It's one of the few books that made me actually tear up. Like I didn't cry, but it made me feel emotional, but not in that like really dreadful sense. It was just perfect. When I tell you, I love this book. Basically, this girl, she had a really difficult childhood. She grew up on the outskirts of like a rural town. Her mom left at a really young age, and she's like stuck with her alcoholic father, and she takes care of him in the house, and she like goes to school. But also her neighbor has a boy who's also her age, and throughout the years, like from when they were really, really tiny little like young kids, they would ride the bus together, but they didn't talk and they weren't friends. But as they get older, they form this really poignant and unique connection that really tugs at your heartstrings. But then something happens and they are separated when I think they're 18, or maybe younger than 18, I can't remember. It's like 10, 12 years later. The boy, or guy now, I guess, ends up writing a book, because that's something they always connected over, which is, it's a part of the story that I really, really liked, is that they connected over literature and books, and they were all speaking about books, and it's like, it's just so beautiful. Like talking about it makes me miss them. I need to reread this book. So it's also got this great feature of being a book inside of a book. So basically the guy ends up writing a book and it goes viral. It's like a bestseller, and the girl, she picks up the book and starts reading, but then she realizes, like, excuse me, this book is about me. Like, is this play about us? You know, that kind of thing. And she's like really angry with him, but we follow her as she kind of deals with her past trauma, but is also reading this book written by him. And, you know, she's really seeing her life play out in a book, which is really cool. Like, I wish someone would do that for me. But yeah, she didn't like it. She was really angry. But overall, this was such a unique book. I really loved the writing and the epilogue. Don't even get me started on the epilogue. It's beautiful. Honestly, such a beautiful book. I don't know how anyone could hate it. And it's really fast-paced, another page turner. You won't want to stop reading. You will have to know what happens next. And so this is the perfect book to get you out of a reading slump, or just to palate cleanse. Like, very neutral. It's not a series. It's just, it's there for you to pick up, and it's my gift to you because it's beautiful. Then we have Girl Abroad, and I just want to mention this one for all the Al Kennedy stans out there. If you've read a book by Al Kennedy and you liked it, you probably will like this one. This one is also a standalone. It's just like a really fun, chaotic book. Like, it's entertaining, and it has a love triangle. It has coming of age. This girl moves to England for a year. She's an exchange student there, and she comes across this painting, because I think she's like an art or a history major or something, and she comes across this painting that has a mystery element to it. She's like, who is this bitch in the painting? I need to find out. And so she does. We follow her as she solves the mystery. But she also has this really hot, broody guy with a motorcycle. Oh, and he's like a bass player in a band also. Yeah. That follows her along on that journey. Oh, and I forgot to mention that her dad is like the most famous rock star in the world, because of course he is. And so she's like kind of climbing out of her shell, out of her box, by moving away from home, because her dad's been like sheltering her and whatever. So there's that storyline as well. And overall, I think I gave this book 3.5 stars. Yeah, it's like, that means I recommend it. It wasn't a 5-star. It wasn't like a perfect read, but this is literally the perfect palate cleanser. I read this after binging the entire Magnolia Park series, and it was the perfect book to make sure that I didn't go into a reading slump. So I would really recommend it if that's the type of book that you're looking for. And yeah, I liked the main character. I liked the love triangle aspect. Like, usually we don't like love triangles, but I have to say this one did it really well. Next book I want to talk to you about, and this one, like, if you ever listen to anything that I say, let it be this: None Shall Sleep. I forgot the author's name. I'm sorry, but I'll put it here because this book is my latest 5-star read, and I'm probably going to be finding a way to recommend it in every single video I make from here on out, because this book is so great. Like, it had me up reading until the morning hours. Like, I couldn't stop. I like wanted to cry because I was so tired, but I couldn't put the book down. Like, I'm just a girl. What am I supposed to do? It was so great. I don't think it has any romance. It is a part of a series, but it's not like that it ends on this huge cliffhanger and you need to move on to the next one. But you're probably gonna want to, because it's just that good. And you want more of it, and you're so happy to realize that there is more of it. And I am literally sitting on the edge of my seat waiting for the third book, because I did read the second one like right after this one. I had to, I didn't have a choice. But basically, this is about a girl who escapes very narrowly serial, or I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. I think you know what I'm gonna say, but like a career murderer. Yeah. She has obviously a lot of trauma from that, but she also like kind of weirdly has like a feeling for when someone is that kind of weird. You know what kind of weird I'm talking about? Yeah, so basically she gets recruited by the FBI to interview juvenile killers. Or, oh, there I said it. I don't know if I can say this. But yeah, like juvenile subjects or whatever they're called. And let me just tell you, those interviews are something else. They're very interesting to read. I have to say, I learned a lot from this about the psychology of those people, and it was just a really interesting read. I couldn't stop reading it. But basically the plot is that they end up working on active cases. Like, I'm not going to reveal how that happens. You need to find it out yourself. But they end up like hunting after a real career murderer that is like on the outside, an active case. Words, come on. What am I trying to say? Oh, and just fair warning, there is one crazy person, like a real life sociopath, that you might just fall in love with while reading this. That's like, yeah. I don't know what else to say about that, but honestly, there's like a very specific serial killer that he's like a really important character in, I feel like, this entire series, because he's in the second book. He's even a bigger character, and I can tell from the way that the second book ends that the third one is going to be even more about him. And he's a crazy person, but you're actually rooting for him, which is crazy in itself, but it just shows great writing. And when I tell you this is great writing, like, please take this from me. I know I'm just a random person on the internet, but I'm still at the restaurant. Yeah, if you liked The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, you will like this. Like, I promise you will like this. If you liked A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, you will like this. Like, this is not a dupe. I don't want to call it a dupe because it's that good, and it is a unique plot, but you will like this. I promise. Like, or if you just like any shows like Criminal Minds or like CSI or whatever, you'll like this. You'll love this. You won't be able to stop reading. Like, I highly recommend this. There's no way anyone could rate this lower than like 4 stars. I gave it 5 stars because I couldn't find anything wrong with it. Just that, like, obviously it's very unrealistic. Teenagers are not gonna ever be in the FBI, but I don't think we're reading for realistic. At least I'm not. Like, I'll read nonfiction if I want realism. Just this type of book doesn't need to be realistic. I have to say that that parts of it was incredibly realistic. The depiction of trauma is incredibly real. It's really good. It's well written. I had to have a thesaurus on hand while reading this, although I read it on my Kindle, so I could just like click on the word and check the meaning. But maybe that's just because English is not my first language. So maybe if you're English, then you will understand more of the words. But look, it was really easy to follow, such a page turner, and perfect if you are in a reading slump or you feel like you're going into a reading slump. Like, you could be someone who hasn't read anything in like 5 years, and you will read this from front to back real fast. I promise. Read this one. If you take one recommendation from this video, let it be this one. Next one is Love and Gelato. Now, this is a pretty popular book because it was actually made into a series, but I've been told that the series is really, no, not a series, a book. It is a book, a movie. I've been told that it's not really good. I don't really care about that. Like, I like books more, but it's really sweet. It's really cute. I really feel like anyone from age like 12 to mid-20s can read this and enjoy it. It's such a like short, fast book. You'll go through it like lightning because it doesn't have that many pages, and it's a fast-paced type of writing style. And I loved all the characters in this. It has such sweet characters. Well, not all the characters. We all know there's always got to be some antagonist, but it's also got like a really sweet mystery because basically this girl's mom dies, and so she has no one except I think her grandparents. She goes to Italy to visit her dad. Well, she gets there, finds an old journal of her mom's, and while she's reading the journal, she's finding out more stuff about her mom. She's finding more stuff out about herself. And it's just this really beautiful coming of age story. You see and feel a bit of Italy. I felt like I was in Italy and I've never been there, so it's like a really great vibe to experience while reading a book, but it actually takes you to the place that it's set in. The best feeling ever. This is like in my head, when I think palate cleanser, this is the book that I think of. It's like cotton candy, you know? It's so sweet, but it's this beautiful fluffy, and it's like pink and blue and pastel colors. And if you still haven't read this book and you like contemporary coming of age romance stories, yeah, definitely read this. This is a beautiful YA character study coming of age story, and really short and concise, and I would highly recommend for a palate cleanser. Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. If you're an Ali Hazelwood fan, you've probably already read this book, but I thought I'd just mention it in case you haven't. So basically, this is a book that's about this girl, Mallory, who is an extremely talented chess player. But something happens, her dad dies, and she refuses to play chess ever again until she's kind of forced into this like charity tournament, and she ends up winning against the world champion of chess. And while things spiral from there, progress from there, this is a romance, this is a love story, and it was beautiful. Much less YA than I would have anticipated. So please, like, this is not, if you're 12 and you want to read YA, don't take this as YA. Like, wait until you're 15, 16, I'd say. Because there are some heavy topics, some taboo topics, and yeah, definitely not YA. It was just skip the graphic scenes, but it still, you know, talks about a lot of stuff. I really love this book because, once again, it was really fast-paced. I like fast-paced books, if you can't tell. They're perfect for getting out of a reading slump. I play chess myself, and so I obviously really like this book because it was about chess. And it's a lot of chess. I have to warn you, if you don't like chess at all, maybe skip this one. The story was adorable. Obviously, it's got that typical Ali Hazelwood, tongue-in-cheek, witty writing, which is just so entertaining. It's well written and like highly deserving of all the hype. I would highly recommend this if you're looking for a fast-paced palate cleanser, something to get you out of a reading slump, because this got me out of a reading slump. Like, it literally saved me. Okay, I love this book, highly recommend it. I just wish we got a little bit more. I felt like it was a bit too short, which I don't find myself saying often about books, but yeah, it felt too short. Not fell short, it felt too short. I wanted more. I wanted more of them. I love them. I still think about them. Okay, this is a really popular book, and you probably already know about it. You've probably already read it, but I have to talk about it, okay? You can't blame me. I want to... Okay, The Summer of Broken Rules. I gave this book 5 stars. I could not physically find anything wrong with it. I actually tried. I was like staring at the book and I was like, there has to be something that makes this not a 5-star, because like, how is it possible that I just randomly stumbled upon this book? I read it within a day and now I have a new 5-star? Like, I thought I would never ever get that 5-star feeling again, and here it is. Well, here it is. Like, I'm giving it to you on a platter. If you're looking for something to get you out of reading slumps, something palate cleansing, read this book if you haven't yet, please. This book is the epitome of summer. And also, this is the best YA romance I have ever read. When I tell you, I still think about them every single day. This is one of those stories that just stick with you. The cover and the like Taylor Swift references made me think that I was not gonna like this book, because I thought it was just like a random person who was like taking up writing because it seems like an easy avenue. But no, this was really well written, and it actually has some of my favorite quotes in a book. Like, this book deals with grief and heavy subjects, but still manages to be light somehow and a breath of fresh air. It was so good, so good. I love the characters and the goofiness of this book, but it was perfectly balanced out with like a deep, poignant feeling as well. And it's just summer. everywhere you look. Like, this is the perfect summer book. I promise you, like, please read this. It's so good. It's so good. So basically, this girl, her sister died, I think 2 years ago, and she's still dealing with that loss and that grief. And they're returning to their favorite summer vacation spots for the first time since it happened. And this specific spot is Martha's Vineyard, and her cousin is getting married there. And the love interest in this book is one of the groomsmen, and he's so sweet. I love them together. Like, I still, when I like picture teens in love, I think of them. Like, I want what they have. Like, seriously, this is one of the few books where I wanted to imagine myself as the main character, which is not something I do often, but I wanted to be her so bad. Like, it had some of the cutest scenes that I will like play in my mind to fall asleep. When I tell you, like, it was perfect. And they're all playing this little game with these water guns, and it's like assassin, but it's fun, and they take it up way too seriously. But it works. It just works. Go read it. Then I just want to say, Unravel Me by Becca Mack. I would also think this is a perfect palate cleanser. It's, in my opinion, the best book in that series. I didn't really like the first two, but I did read them, and then I was like, oh, I've come this far, I might as well read the third one, and then it ended up being amazing. Like, wow, improvement in writing, character development, okay. Yeah, this was a great book. I loved it. It's about a single mom, which I don't think we see that trope too often, right? I love that trope. Anyways, a single mom, she's a vet student, and famous hockey player, and well, he kind of hides his identity from her, and things progress from there. But it was the sweetest story, and him with kids is my Roman empire. Oh, I would highly recommend this book if you're a romance girly. Opt for this one for a palate cleanser. Really great. It's both a funny and an emotional book, more emotional than funny, but I just mean it has some really great banter. It also deals with trauma in a surprisingly realistic way, because both of the main characters used to be orphans. This book has my heart. I really loved it. I think it's perfect for palate cleansing. My point that I'm making over and over again in this video. But yeah, it's a hockey romance, technically. This is my favorite hockey romance by far. Like, it has so many cute moments, so many deep moments. For a romance book, highly recommend. Then we have How to End a Love Story. This is a very recent release, and I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about it. Maybe I'm just living under a rock, but I don't think I am. This book was incredibly unique for what it was. Like, seriously, it's about this guy, Grant, and the main character, Helen. They used to go to high school together, and well, he was involved in her sister's death. Not in a suspicious way, okay? He's very, very innocent. But our main character kind of holds a grudge. Not kind of, she definitely holds a grudge. And, well, she was really petty in this book. And at first I had a really hard time liking her, but then I realized she's literally me. And then I was like, oh, that would be hypocritical, you know? So I had to like her. But really, I recommend this book for Grant because he's one of my favorite male main characters at the moment. Like, he's perfect. Perfect. And this book is really fast-paced. I flew through it. So here's the thing. Helen, the main character, she writes a book that is a best-selling, like, New York Times #1 best-selling novel. And it gets turned into a TV series, and she's invited to be a part of a group of screenwriters who are adapting the script. And unfortunately, or fortunately for the reader, Grant is a part of that group of screenwriters, and so they have to find a way to work together despite their past. Yeah, and it proves to be a little bit difficult, but also because they are inherently drawn to one another. And it was just the sweetest romance until it wasn't sweet anymore. But then, yeah, I don't know what else I could say, but I was like throughout the whole book, because our main character is Chinese and she has like really strict parents, which I also really enjoyed that storyline of her with her parents. Great depiction of that kind of trauma and difficult relationships. Let me just say, I was nervous that we weren't gonna get like action at the end of the book when her parents found out about her and Grant, because they highly disapprove, like very strongly disapprove. But we did. It delivered on the drama, okay? Very much drama. I was so nervous about that. Then when shit hit the fan, I was eating it up. I love that. So yes, highly recommend for a palate cleanser. This is a great book if you want to get out of a reading slump, or once again, palate cleanse. Like, this is what the video is about, and I hope that helped you. I hope you got some good recommendations there. Also, please don't be angry at me if you don't like all of these books. They're just my opinions, and reading is subjective. So yeah, I like these books. I can give all of them 5 stars. Once again, I don't think they're like the peak of literature, but for what this video is, palate cleansers and getting out of reading slump books, I personally think these are perfect because that's what they did for me. Thank you for watching, and if you don't mind, please click subscribe if you like the video. Of course, wouldn't want to force you to do anything that you don't want to. I feel so strange talking to a camera and saying stuff like that. Oh. Bye.